So the Winx series seems to be doing surprisingly well. In which case, it's time to finish off this documentary series and maybe do some other Winx-related stuff in the future. Who knows? But from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you guys for all the support on this series. I was very nervous about trying this out, and it turned out better than I could have imagined. That all said, if this is your first time seeing me discuss the Winx Club franchise, then be sure to go check out my playlist on this documentary series. Part 1 is What the Heck Was Winx Club, a broader overview. Part 2 is the many dubs of Winx Club, more focused on the show before Nickelodeon. And then Part 3 is How Nickelodeon Nearly Destroyed Winx Club. You know, the one that blew up in the algorithm. Yes, I knew the goat sacrifices would pay off. Wait, what? Now, today we're going to be talking about where the franchise is now in the wake of the Nickelodeon deal. We're talking Season 7, we're talking World of Winx, and we're talking the still ongoing 8th season, plus talk of future projects for the show. So without further ado, Unicorn of War presents the Winx Club. Where are they now? For seasons 5 and 6, Rainbow and Nickelodeon had a deal to co-produce the series, not just co-finance the production. Following the end of this deal, however, it was noted by Eugenio Straffi, the CEO of Rainbow S.r.L. and the creator of Winx Club, that there was a fundamental misunderstanding between the companies as to what the Winx Club franchise and brand were about and who the show was meant for. Since its debut in Italy in 2004, though the Winx Club franchise, which was actually co-produced with the Rai Public Broadcasting Network, proved to be a global phenomenon and raked in a lot of cash through merchandise and doll sales, Rainbow still put a large focus on ensuring the series was genuinely enjoyable not only for children but also teens and even young adults, especially as the characters grew up across the first 4 seasons and their stories became darker and more mature. This focus seemed to be lost while working with Nickelodeon, and as such, seasons 5 and 6 created not just a host of issues in terms of internal continuity for the series, but also problems for the show's tone. By the time season 6 ended, the quality of its writing and storytelling seemed to be aimed primarily and solely at young children, and this change was even made clear when Nick moved the series to Nick Jr. After condemning most of season 6 to online release only via the Nick website, because no one learned anything from Korra books 3 and 4, it's because of all of this that season 7's tone comes off as very immature. In some ways, with the addition of the fairy animals, the simplicity and oftentimes lack of a central plot, and Butterflicks. Season 7 reached almost a level of parody of how Nickelodeon and many people, because of the disastrous deal, perceived the franchise. Ironically though, it at least reads more competent than Season 5 and definitely Season 6. There's a level of charm and wit in the dialogue and mysticism overall that had been missing since the Nickelodeon era began. By no means is Season 7 amazing, it's still probably the second weakest of any Winx season, right above the abysmal levels of 6, but there was much more effort put into making the season to at least make it somewhat enjoyable. Season 7 is a story of dealing with the hand you were given. By this point, Rainbow took the fact Nickelodeon watered down the franchise as a whole and chased away the older audiences, and did their best to grit their teeth and turn out a new season that wouldn't serve as yet another case of tonal whiplash like the transition from Season 4 to Season 5. Again, there are massive problems, namely in the lack of presence in the main villain Kalshara, the annoying comic relief Brophilius is forced to deliver, the hammered environmental themes yet again, and the...
I am the Infinity Swan.
I am at a loss for words. And you didn't even title this episode Swan Song? Really? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So season 7 is a bit of a mixed bag, but it kinda owns what it is. And in a way, I have to respect that. But after this, Rainbow took some time to let the franchise rest as they cooked up a new game plan to make do with the show's regression and maturity, while also finding a way to win back the older audiences. And hopefully, never again would we endure. You know, funnily enough, this dance is pretty memeable. I mean, just watch. Ah, utter brilliance. One more for good fun.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
When you live in the darkest timeline, you gotta find the light somewhere. Debuting in November 2016, World of Winx is a spin-off series produced by Rainbow and released in many regions, including the US, as a Netflix original. Seemingly divorced from the canon of the original series, this series takes place solely on Earth and doesn't even have any mention of the magical universe, nor any characters besides the Winx, save for Roxy sometimes. I'm still bitter, yes. World of Winx is essentially an attempt by Rainbow to return the series to its more mature roots without disorienting newer, presumably younger fans who are more used to the more child-friendly tone of the new seasons. Essentially, they're keeping the main series as the version of the show meant specifically for the toddler and children demographic, while World of Winx has inherited the older seasons' preteen, teenager, and young adult demographics. The general plot is that the Winx are hiding their magic as they try to stop the mysterious talent thief from abducting talented people for but then along the way, bam, they get 2 new dream-themed transformations because this is Winx Club, and also the plot draws a lot of material from the story of Peter Pan, including a dark Neverland, a corrupted Tinkerbell, and a brooding young Captain Hook. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Yeah, they just call him Jim. They never call him, like, James or Hook. I mean, maybe they call him Hook, but I can't remember. It's actually a pretty solid story on its own, though the second season definitely dragged at points for me. It's nowhere near the level of the original 4 seasons, but it's leaps and bounds beyond seasons 5 through 7. Right now, World of Winx is in hiatus limbo, with lots of rumors with, like, no trustworthy sources about cancellation. But I mean, season 8 is still being produced and released, so maybe wait till that finishes before you start screaming? And speaking of season 8, Season 8 came after a very long break as Rainbow tried to strategize in how to reshape the series' perception, which resulted in the aforementioned divide between the main series and the spin-off World of Winx. As such, Season 8 is specifically designed to be enjoyable for much younger viewers, more focused on fantastical, whimsical stories, with generally charming and kinda witty writing at times, but none of the darker, more mature elements you would expect from Seasons 1 through 4 or World of Winx. This resulted in the application of the Fairy Couture art style for World of Winx to make it its own entity, as well as a total redesign to make the characters in Season 8 appear much younger, effectively cementing their regression in age that fans had speculated about since Season 5. Like Seasons 5 through 7, Season 8 has its own theme of space. By which I mean stars and cosmic escapades involving one of the more fire transformation songs to grace our hellscape of a world.
Let's go! We're cosmic swings, we can light up the sky. The power is cosmic, yeah!
Even if the writing becomes questionable, you can always count on Winx Club to deliver damn good transformation songs. Plus, I actually kind of dig the outfits, especially for Stella and Musa. And Musa's pose right there, like, look at my daughter. Yes, queen. Season 8 has actually been pretty enjoyable for the most part. Valtor, the main villain of Season 3, is back for some reason, but hey, he's best villain, so I guess I'll allow it. It actually seems to have effort put into its production, unlike Seasons 5 and 6 and most of Season 7, so I'm much more forgiving of it than most people seem to be right now. The first half is already wrapped up in Italy, with the second half slated for release this fall, and the English dub is apparently being released in Turkey? Okay then, alright. But I'm interested to see what the rest of the season has to offer, along with the rest of the series, because Eugenio Straffi has actually confirmed he has ideas for plenty of seasons after this one. So Season 8, in a way, is kind of a testing ground for this new tone and brand, so let's hope that Season 8 continues being good. Though some have brought up issues regarding the new art style of both World of Winx and Winx Club Season 8, namely, whitewashing. Yay. Because of the new art style, the colors of each series are more washed out and more pastel-like than the older series. And this often results in all of the characters becoming paler and lighter skinned than they actually are. Flora, as such, appears only slightly darker skinned than Bloom, Stella, and Musa, and Aisha seems to have adopted Flora's old skin tone. Many have said it was a racist move on the part of the creators, but I disagree. The show has actually done a very good job in its racial diversity over the years, with many great characters of color like Flora and Aisha since 2004 or 2005, and with normalized interracial relationships like Flora and Helia, aka Best Couple, Musa and Riven, and more recently Aisha and Nex. I mean, I say this even though while the Winx aren't the races that we know of on Earth, because, you know, they're all from different alien planets, but like, it's a complicated issue. Representation matters, y'all. Rainbow means well, and sometimes they slip up. Sometimes very badly, as Season 1 taught us. But I think it's best to learn from those mistakes and move forward to do better. Hopefully Flora and Aisha's skin tones are restored to their original darker pigments later on, but we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. The Winx Club franchise is an interesting study in how even one of the most popular brands across the globe can be forgotten and radically changed through bad business decisions and general mismanagement. What was once a pretty mature story with an interesting universe of unique locations and characters has really just become another glorified toy commercial with the occasional moment of goodness. While World of Winx and Winx Club Season 8 have done a good job at trying to ameliorate the franchise's issues in the fallout of the Nickelodeon deal and restore its general perception, those problems are likely to stay, unfortunately, leaving a scar that will likely stay with the series till its final days. I hope this documentary series has provided an enjoyable insight into the franchise's history. Whether you're an older fan of the old 4Kids dub, or a relative newbie from the Nickelodeon era, or you have no idea what the hell Winx Club even is and you're just super bored. If you guys are interested, I am definitely up to make more videos on the franchise, whether it's about the story, the franchise as a whole, or perhaps the individual different dubs. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video and would like to see more content like this from me, then you can not only check out the first 3 parts of this Winx Club documentary, which you probably should have watched before watching this, but oh well. But you can also check out my other videos, and also consider pledging your support over on Patreon if you are able to, and or checking out the links to my work in progress curse book in the description below. It's killing me inside. I'm the Unicorn of War, and this has been a shit show.